everyone, it's Tabitha from the 1111 Hour and Help Me Build My Business Australia. Welcome to Season 2, Episode 1 of our podcast, and it's awesome to be here. So one thing before we get started and introduce you to Leanne, I'd like to say a special mention to Amanda Nicole, who's actually setting up our monthly mingle, our 1111 Hour monthly mingle. If you haven't heard about it, you need to get on the 1111hour.com.au website and go on the wait list, because it's going to start in, I think, July. And it's basically an opportunity to meet other business owners and help each other and collaborate. So who wouldn't want to do that? And without further ado, here is Leanne from Soulmate Coaching. How are you going, Leanne?
I'm good, thanks. How are you, Tabitha? How is everyone else out there?
I'm good. I'm excited about tonight. I'm really looking forward to this topic. And I know we had a few questions over the last week come in anonymous, so it's going to be an interesting night. And I'm looking forward to hearing your answers as they come up on the screen. As always, everybody that's listening, please know that you can put your questions in the comments throughout, and Leanne will stop and address those questions. Anyway, let's do this. I'm so excited. All right, so
let's do it.
Leanne's been with us before, so she knows the drill. I'm going to help her with her slides, and she's going to take control now. So thank you, Leanne.
Beauty. Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for coming along tonight to Menopause Mayhem, managing the mindfuckery, madness, and moistness. Now, it was a really tricky topic to put that little subheading into, but really menopause can be just chaos for a lot of people. And what I want to do is be able to share some strategies with you all, whether that's you in the midst of your own menopausal journey, or your partner. If your partner's watching along tonight, I've got some little hints further down the track about what to do in your relationships, even with your workplace, that are going to be really, really helpful. So tonight is how you can support yourself, and how others that are in your life can support you as well. So I hope that we have a really great night. So for those of you that don't know me, I'm Leanne. I'm 49. I've got 4 kids. They are all a little grown up now. So my youngest is 17. I do own a couple of small businesses, but 4 years ago, I had a full hysterectomy, surgically induced hysterectomy. So I was thrown into the midst of menopause straight away. But I was actually going through perimenopause, just did not know any of the symptoms or signs, and my doctor didn't kind of really share much with me at all either. So it's a little bit of a confusion. So here we are tonight to help out with hopefully changing your concepts and ideas about it. I am now an advocate for women's health, and I am always available for men's health and questions there as well. I love teaching people how to be in control of their own bodies and their own mindsets and their own communications, so that they can share the absolute best version of themselves and yourselves with everyone else around you. So probably the biggest thing that I would really want to push out tonight is that I am not a doctor. I am a coach. So I do coach people through mindset changes and lifestyle changes to have a really great time with menopause, as opposed to feeling really down in the dumps about it. So that's where that comes from in there. I will advise any medical advice we talk to your doctors about. They're the best people to answer those questions. Okay, this is my favorite image ever, and this particular quote here was something that I heard at the beginning of my journey when I was really curious about what menopause is and what menopause meant for me. So at a woman's first bleeding, she meets her power. In her bleeding years, she practices it, and at menopause, she becomes it. So ladies, all of you out there, this is your time to embrace the power of you. That's it, simple as that. So let's go. Let's keep learning more about this. All right. So goals for tonight. As I've mentioned some of them before, I want to help you with some mindset and attitude shifts around menopause. It isn't all doom and gloom, I promise you that. Understand some mind and body changes are temporary. Some of them are a little bit longer term, but some are temporary as well. Learn that learn that you are important. Learn how to support the women in your life. For those online tonight that are learning how to support their women in their lives. Some tough time techniques. We're going to talk a little bit of taboo and a little bit of self-care and self-pleasure. And at the end of it, hopefully, you'll feel a lot more empowered to take more control over your experiences in menopause. Something that I really advise that every single woman out here who is stepping into their menopausal power is that you start to use the phrases, I can and I will. They are strong. They are so determined. So I've put down here the determination to speak up and advocate for yourself with healthcare providers is your best menopause plan. If you are ill-informed, don't know enough about your own self to be able to speak openly with your doctor and ask the right questions, then you're going to feel confused and lost. So we want to live our lives now empowered and strong as women that can embrace life with an I can and an I will attitude as opposed to I'll try. See the determination difference there, Tab?
Yeah. Look, I'm a big advocate myself for telling people that they need to self-advocate for their own health and their own well-being. So I completely back everything you just said. And that's the same with menopause, the same with any other health challenges you may face along our journey through life.
Yeah, for sure. We need to know, we need to understand what we're advocating for. So okay, so I just want to have a little brief chat about what we know about menopause. Oh, we've got a great question up there. I'm going to come back to that one. Can we hold that one out for a little bit longer? So hold on to that thought. We'll come back to it. A little bit about menopause. So I'm just going to put over here on the right-hand side. It says in Australia, the average age of menopause is 51 years. And it is normal to have menopause anywhere between 45 and 55. These dates now and ages are slightly changing. So they're saying that some of these changes are starting around about 35 years, but we're being potentially, I don't want to say misdiagnosed, but we're potentially being a little bit misunderstood, or again, not being informed enough about our bodies to speak to our doctors and ask the right questions. So,
why is that, Leanne? Why is the age getting younger?
Oh, look, I can't answer that question, Tabitha. What I really believe it might be is that women are finally being researched. So women's health conditions are finally being put under the spotlight, and there's a lot more studies which is proving to show that there are a lot more younger people experiencing symptoms of menopause. So
yeah, that would make sense. That would make a lot of sense if that is the answer.
Yeah. Well, we don't know the answers if we have never studied them. So there's a lot more happening now. There's some amazing studies being done. So I've put in here, what do we know about menopause? So our bodies, we need estrogen, and that's our main hormones that run our systems and allow us to release eggs each month, allow us to naturally lubricate, and affect our desire. So here we have a breakdown of each of the different hormones that we have within our bodies that sometimes work together, or primarily work together for us, and then the changes through menopause. So with estrogen, it's produced from the cells around the eggs in your ovaries, and it helps to maintain the parts of your body, for example, your endometrium, which is the lining of the uterus, and the cervix, where your uterus joins your vagina, the breast ducts, and the bones. So very, very female-based. Progesterone, it's responsible for things like the mucus levels in your cervix, acidity levels in your vagina, and milk cells in your breasts. It can also make you moody. So we might come back to we might come back to that question in a minute. Testosterone, it plays an important role in women's sexual desire, emotional well-being, and bone and muscle strength. So with the combination of each of these three throughout our cycles, we can kind of have some kind of beautiful balance and harmony. Through menopause, all of these things change. So we're left with deficits in parts of our hormonal system. Okay, we'll answer this question here. Thanks for this great question. When I'm feeling my worst, how can I help my husband understand that I'm just shitty from menopause and not at him? It's not personal. You're going to have to teach him about menopause, and I hope that he's online tonight learning about it. It's really going to be about you teaching him more about what you're going through and what you're experiencing. Speaking to him about the changes that are happening in your body is the very first part. And on the next couple of slides, we're going to talk more about some of those changes. So we need to be able to articulate a little bit more about exactly what it is that you're experiencing. So here we go. What do you know about what do you know about menopause? So you would have heard the most common symptoms on the screen here: irregular periods, hot flushes, night sweats, loss of libido, vaginal dryness, irritability, brain fog, emotional changes, and mood swings. Sounds like a hoot, hey?
Doesn't sound much fun, Leanne.
Well, it depends on your attitude to all of these, because some of these are, well, I believe they are manageable with some strategies. So, but, you know, inevitably they are going to happen to majority of us at some point. The severity of them varies between every single person. And Cherry's here saying, yeah, it sounds amazing. So, on the rest of the screen here, you can see that there are a lot of other more, I suppose, obscure for some people symptoms that we can have. So the very first sign we tend to sort of notice is that our periods become a little irregular, but all of those common signs do pop up potentially at some stage. Now, I keep saying potentially and maybe because every woman's journey is very, very different. So I'd love to, anyone in the comments, by all means, pop into there if you're experiencing any of those other menopausal symptoms. And I want you to consider in here too that these are symptoms of perimenopause too. So once your body is starting to have the changes and stepping into this new phase of life and into the change, these are symptoms that you will experience throughout perimenopause as well. There's a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot there on that screen. Yeah, unbelievable. I didn't even know some of those. Did I read electric shock, by the way? Just wanted to...
Yeah. So some people get like an electric shock sensation, primarily in their hands or their feet. I think I've experienced it at times in my feet where, I don't know, I've just gone and put some socks and some Ugg boots on and felt that was going to help out. But it didn't last very long for me personally. So, yeah. Now, Cherry has asked in the comments, what's the difference between the two? Cherry, on this screen here, you can see that there's a big sort of sweeping movement of the different stages. The higher estrogen levels that we have in our bodies at a certain age at the bottom, our experiences with symptoms start. So perimenopause is mood swings, irritability, weight gain, slight weight gain, night sweats, irregular periods. And then as our estrogen levels dip and our age increases, the different stages of menopause and perimenopause come in. So I want you to notice here probably the bottom end of this scale where it says post-menopause, because some of the things that I'll talk about a little bit further down the track are the importance of understanding this particular concept of the different stages, the age you are in your life, and the symptoms that you're experiencing, because the other end of it is where a lot of the focus these days has to happen when it comes to hormone replacement and really looking after and nurturing your body in the earlier stages. Right? If that makes any sense. Got a great question here. Hi, Leanne, 43-year-old woman here with a huge life and not a lot of time. What should I expect when perimenopause starts? Hello. Thank you for a really great question. Look, as you can see on this slide here, or as you might be listening online, perimenopause starts with lots of different things: mood swings, cramps, insomnia, night sweats, irritability, anxiety, all the fun stuff. Commonly found in 43-year-old women. So I would suggest that you are already in perimenopause, but you might not have the information to already ask your doctor about it, or even the doctor is potentially a little nervous to approach you and tell you that you might be entering menopause or perimenopause. Something I feel like we need to understand here is that we've grown up thinking that menopause is just the big doom and gloom, and it's the worst thing that could ever happen to a woman. You know, we've heard many people talk about it, that women are moving into this dry state in their lives, and they're dried up old hags and they don't want sex anymore. And we feel that pressure to not, you know, we don't particularly want to have sex anymore because it potentially is painful, or we're not feeling connected with our partners, and life stresses are, you know, mounting up on us. So often we go to the doctor, I have been there included, and have experienced some of these perimenopausal symptoms, and they've told me that it's anxiety or depression. So we need to understand that arming ourselves with this type of information and going to our doctors and saying, look, these are the symptoms that I have. I need you to tell me, do you believe that I'm in perimenopause? Are there any tests that I can do that will confirm any of that? And a lot of doctors are hesitant to do any testing for menopause, but have the conversations, but arm yourself with information like this is the best way to be.
Yeah, no, I think that's really great advice. I think that as it goes back to what we were saying before about being your biggest advocate when it comes to your health, and speaking up and owning it, and not putting all the hope that your doctor's going to pick up on it. You know, sometimes we do that. Yeah, and I think sometimes it's better to have some sort of, you know, self-knowing about what's going on before you even go into the doctor. Obviously, there's instances where we can't do that. We might be really confused about certain symptoms we're having, but if you've got an inkling, say it. Like, actually just say it.
Yeah. And look, at times it's a really hard admission to actually think about it and go, oh, shit, I'm going through menopause. My experience with menopause was my mum turned into a cranky old bitch, to be honest, and she was really cranky at us all the time, and we couldn't do anything right. And, you know, I don't want to be that person. So to admit to ourselves that we may be menopausal, that is a big admission in itself. But we have to move past that. We have to understand that we are going to go through a change. So the longer we put off understanding it, the more troublesome time you could potentially have with it. So tonight is about embracing it, and it is about working with what you're managing and not working against it, because you can actually have a pretty good time in this later part of your life. It doesn't have to be all doom and gloom, like I said earlier.
I like the sound of that, Leanne. Let's get to that.
Let's do that.
Okay?
I'm just looking, my face is flushing. I've got my heater on 25 degrees in here.
Oh, no.
Jerry remembers her poor mum having hot flushes and always saying she felt hot. Yeah. It's a funny one. I remember one little, I'll tell just a tiny little story. I was massaging one day in my treatment room. It was in the middle of August, and it was one of the very first hot flushes that I ever had. and I had my hysterectomy early June. So it was like 2 months, not even 2 months later. And I'm massaging and I could feel myself getting really hot and sweaty. I could feel sweat running down my back. I could feel all the sparkles coming on my face. And I'm thinking, oh, shit, what is this? And I pretended I had a very bad cough. And I excused myself from the room and I ran outside my back door and dropped my pants to my ankles, stripped my top off, and I'm standing out the back of my house in freezing cold, trying to cool my body down, pretending that I'm coughing. So they thought I was just having a coughing fit, but it was a whopping hot flush.
Did you know at the time what it was? Were you worried that it was something else? Like, were you sure that that's what you were actually facing then?
Well, yeah, I knew that I was going to come into menopausal symptoms straight after my hysterectomy. So I kind of went, whoa, is that a hot flush?
That's it.
Yep. So, but I call them power surges now. They're just a power up.
Some of us would probably be like, what's this? What's this? What's going on? Obviously, you had the heads up that was going to happen to you because of your
but you know about it enough that you know that the common symptoms are hot flushes and irritability and changing in periods. So I'd be expecting a hot flush just as much as you're expecting your mailman to drop the mail at the door every week.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, okay. So we'll get back on track here. So as I said, I've been saying all night, you've probably heard that once you hit menopause, it's all downhill. I challenge that. I really do. And I encourage everybody that's listening to challenge that belief that it isn't all downhill. You can emerge so healthy and empowered and a freedom of space and spaciousness in your lives like you have never had before, potentially. All right. So it's all about just let's embrace it and let's live with it and learn more about it so we can have a great life. This is one of my favorite slides. Two older women there just looking like they're loving life, right? So on the screen here, it says in traditional Chinese medicine, menopause is called the second spring in a woman's life. It represents the renewal of energy and opportunities as there is a shift from fertility and reproduction to conserving and nourishing the self. How beautiful is that?
I love that. I love that thought. You know, that, yeah, no, I love that. I can see why you've included it. Because, you know, as you said, many of us have this idea that it's just doom and gloom and it's going to be terrible. But when you reframe it that way, I think that helps. You know, that's a better way to do it. It's certainly a better way to describe it.
You got to remind yourself of that one, though.
Yeah, we need to like print this off and put it up on the wall.
Yeah. We got a comment here. I go bright red and feel like I'm going to human combust. Yep, that's what it feels like sometimes. I agree completely, Jojo. Thank you for that. Okay, we've got a question here. I run my own business and I'm scared that menopause will hit and I'll not be at my best. Any advice? How can I cope with increased anxiety during menopause because I'm feeling it? All right, keep watching, keep listening because the next whole element of this is for you. Let's do it. I've got a beautiful person helping you with the screen. So understanding what is happening for you and making the right choices that work for you. It is going to sometimes take some different doctors to listen to you. Sometimes it's going to take you working out how to elaborate on what you're talking about with some doctors. And some of them you might not even just want to spend any time with. So find out as much as you can and learn to understand your body and speak up. The symptoms that we experience are potentially going to increase disease further down the track if we don't look after ourselves at this part of our lives. So prevention of disease begins with actions. Now, I say that because back on the slides, a few slides earlier, the older we get, the more chances we lead into conditions like osteoporosis and Parkinson's disease, inability to move our joints with arthritis. So we want to be able to embrace and continue living the best life we can, as healthily as we can. So we want to think of menopause as prevention of what we can, avoid later on down the track. So this is our reminder to do that.
Yes.
Yes. All right, let's go. All right, and every woman's journey is different. I've said this a few times now. Your journey is different to the person sitting next to you, the person across you at your desk, and your best friend. They're all very, very different. So 20% of people have no symptoms at all. 20% have really severe symptoms, and others just have mild to moderate symptoms. So primarily, most of us will have mild to moderate symptoms, but we want to be able to achieve anything, ladies, right? So we can achieve anything by working on these strategies that we can manage some symptoms better. All right, let's keep going. All right. On the screen here, we've got some images of emotions and anxiety of menopause. We've got cranky women shaking their fists, women with their hands on their head going batshit crazy. We're losing focus. We've got brain fog. We're fatigued. We're popping pills. We're laying in bed. That's what we think that menopause is like, right? Next one, Tabby. Let's go to the next page.
Here we go.
Now, that was a whirlwind of things that we feel, that we think we're going to feel, that we're going to experience at some point along the line. Now, I've put this up here. This is an emotion wheel for anyone that's listening and not viewing. You can Google this, looking at emotion wheel. And what it is, it's important. It's a wheel that shows the different ways to describe bigger emotion that you're experiencing. Now, when you're to manage anxiety, as we've had in that previous question, managing anxiety is really about determining what the emotion is that's coming up for you when you're feeling it. So I highly recommend this by Dr. Gloria Wilcox. It is fabulous to be able to understand that I feel sad about this, but do I feel sad because I'm grieving, or am I sad because something was just, I watched a baby nappy ad on the television and I'm just feeling emotional. This is a really beautiful wheel to print out, laminate, put on your fridge to have as a quick ready reckoner after that. So yeah, yes, Jerry, we can put that up on afterwards.
Yeah, it's a great image. I've seen it before, but when we're talking about menopause and all the emotions that we're going to go through over the next X amount of years, it's a great one, because when you're lost in something, sometimes having a visual like that can help really pinpoint what's going on for you. I like it. I like using it in this context and for this purpose. Yeah.
I put down the bottom there, at times it's not necessary to try and figure out what's caused them, but just acknowledge them. So if you are feeling sad, be sad. If you are feeling angry, you might want to go out and have an aggressive walk like I like to do, or, aggressively mow my lawns. So that's how I get my frustration out. But I don't necessarily need to know nor blame anyone or anything on that feeling that I'm having. That's my feeling. So, yeah.
I like that. Yeah.
Now, this slide here is what we want to feel like when we make better choices to help us feel like this. So the last slide was all cranky and angry, and the women here on these slides are happy and smiling and sharing some intimate times with their partner, empowered, exploring, adventurous, living their lives. A little bit sexy there too. We can feel like this, ladies. Men, your partners can feel like this with your help and your support and your understanding. We all want to look like that, don't we?
Well, yeah, like I'm loving, the first word that I felt when I saw that picture was empowered. Empowered. You can do and be whatever you want to be, even though you're going through such a difficult time.
Or absolutely,
it's about flipping it on its head and owning it.
Look at the bird.
Yeah.
Look at the bird and go, you know what? I know you're there. So, but I'm in control now. So,
yeah.
All right. So now what? Let's go to the next slide and see what goes on here. So from this point forward, once you can understand and collate your list of your symptoms that you're experiencing with menopause and you've spoken to your doctor, this point forward is about making choices and changes, right? And those are two very, very simple things to understand, concepts that are really hard to actually process and deliver. So lifestyle changes will assist you in the reduction of your disease onset during and after menopause. So on the next few slides, we're going to talk about things that you like, making changes in your life that are going to have a positive impact for you, not just now and not just in a year's time, right through for the remainder of your life. Now, up here on the screen, it says, it's really about asking yourself questions. How can I make my menopause journey the best I can, knowing it will affect the remainder of my life? So you can make mindset shifts and take personal responsibility. Are you going to stop drinking? Am I going to stop smoking? What can I do for my mental health? Can I exercise more? Can I change my diet? Can I consider hormone therapy or not? HRT, natural alternatives. Can I manage my time and make more personal time? And can I have some self-pleasure or partnered intimacy practices? The answer to every single one of those is yes. And unless you're prepared to make the choice to make those changes, you're going to struggle with menopause. It's as easy as that. All right, it can't be easy. It can't be that easy. It can. All right. So it's about taking the matters into your own hands. So you can, on here, we've got about learning, understanding, self-care, time management, and sharing. So learn. So increase the amount of information that you find out about perimenopause, menopause, postmenopause. Understand it.
Just like tonight. Yeah.
Just like tonight. Read podcasts, healthcare providers, alternatives. Understand your body, your emotions. Understand that you're not alone. Understand you're not broken. This is just this new phase of life that you're coming into. And understand that there is heaps of support around for you. Self-care, slowing down, changing some of your habits. What are your expectations versus the reality in your life? Can you take up new hobbies? Integration into nature, movement, and time for reflection. Time management in your workplace. You might consider division of labour at home, involving your kids in some stuff at home as well, making some time for your own self-care, and create some personal goals so that you can manage your time to achieve those. Sharing. Talking with your family, your partners, your friends, your workplace, your obgyn, your PT, your therapist, your psychologist, your hairdresser, your massage person. Talk to people and share your experiences. They will be different to other people, but talking about it creates this topic of conversation now, that we're not now all going to be sitting in the dark going, oh my gosh, I'm going through menopause, I'm going to turn into that cranky bitch. All right. Does that sound pretty good?
That sounds pretty good. Like that. I'm learning self-care and time management at the moment to fit my own personal goals in, and taking a bit more care of myself. I'm there, but I'm loving the sharing one, because you don't know if that person sitting next to you in the hairdressers or wherever you are could be feeling pretty alone with this, and you might have just helped them by sharing your story. Or a little snippet of your story.
Yeah, absolutely. And you don't have to just share the shit that you're going through. Like, share the good stuff. Share the things that you've found out. Like if you sit there and go, oh my God, I feel like my hair's falling out in the shower, and every time I do it, I'm so upset that I see a handful of hair in the bottom of the shower. Don't brush your hair in the shower. Like, there's a really simple way to not feel so bad about that. If you find that you have hot sweats through the night and you've gone, what I found the most amazing tip or hack or whatever you want to call it, leave your window open a crack. Don't tuck your sheets in really tight. You might want to pop a little fan at the end of your bed. So share the strategies that you find along the way with other people as well, so that they can use those strategies too.
Good tip. We've got a question.
All righty, Leanne, I'm going through menopause now and have noticed that my skin and hair have changed a lot. Is this normal? I read that it's probably to do with the change. Yes, it is highly, highly normal to lose some of your hair and to have dryness in your skin. It is very normal. You can have a chat to your doctor about it. There's really not huge amount of things that they can do, but what I would highly suggest to you is to be drinking a lot more water. If you drink any alcohol, I'd suggest you reduce the amount of alcohol you're drinking, and nourish your skin. Just get cheap sorbeline cream or some kind of moisturizer and put it all over your body, and take your time with it, because you can incorporate self-care and self-love while you're putting moisturizer over the whole of your body, and enjoy what you're doing. With the hair, I am also thinning from having my going through menopause. I don't know, I just color it a little bit more regularly so that you can't see the roots coming through, and the lack of the fineness of it. Speak to your hairdresser. She's probably got some really great ideas for maybe a different haircut. Might be time for you to do what I did and have it all changed.
That's a great idea. It's about embracing it, isn't it? Like not sitting there feeling sad about it all the time. You can actually do things to change that, the way you see stuff.
100%. I would, with my hair when it was long and curly, I would brush my hair in the shower and have a handful of hair every single time I washed it, so about every 4 days. And that was more disheartening than anything else. So now that it's, so much shorter, nothing comes out.
That's good.
I don't know what the difference is. Maybe it just goes down the plug hole faster. I'm not sure.
Could be that. Yeah. Who knows?
Cut your hair off.
Self-care options.
Self-care options. So here's some ideas for self-care. So movement, you might need to be listening and moving differently to what you have been in the past. So if you're busting out aerobics classes at the gym, it might be time to slow down and do some yoga. You might want to move into some Pilates and still get some movement in your life. Or even if it's just going out for a walk, increasing maybe the distance that you walk, go a different path. New hobbies. Can you find something of your own interest that's not with your family? This is something purely for you. In group settings, socially with your friends, but this is something nurturing for you that, you've raised your kids. They're all doing pretty well. They can probably self-manage themselves if they're all that little bit older. Hubby is available to look after them too. Don't forget, hubbies, don't forget. But do something for you. You spend a lot of time nurturing your kids and caring for everyone else. This is your turn. Care for you. Enjoy some nature. Get out into the open spaces. Walk along the beach. Go for a bush walk if you want to. Go camping. Get some fresh air. New adventures. But just go somewhere in nature and breathe it in. Being around nature, listening to the birds and smelling new smells is just beautiful for you. Makes your body feel great. Reflection, this is one of my absolute favorites, is journaling and breath work and self-love. Going back to earlier when we were talking about the emotions wheel, that you do feel emotional and you do feel anxious about lots of different things. Writing down what you're feeling, and you don't necessarily have to work out what it is, where it's come from, but definitely writing down how you are feeling will sometimes be enough to get that out.
I like that one. I like that one a lot because I express myself through writing. That's how that actually is something I relate to. But everyone should be able to get something from those four categories that you've got there. So and maybe it's about learning something new about yourself. Maybe you're like, oh well, I don't relate to any of that, but maybe you just haven't found it yet because you maybe haven't given yourself the space to, get to know yourself as who you are now.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah.
All righty. What's the
We
next
are
one?
very busy people, aren't we? We sometimes just put all our time into supporting everyone else, and sometimes it's really important to start listening to it. Well, it is always very important to start listening to ourselves, especially when we're going through the things that we are going to face or maybe facing now with menopause.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Something like a reflection that came up for me quite early on was that I did have this element of anxiety around who I was, because for many, many years I gave myself to everybody else. And so when menopause hit, and I was divorced at the time, I was not long into my divorce, that there was this moment of sort of sitting there going, oh, wow, I actually don't know what I enjoy, because for years and years I've given so much of myself to other people. And it was a real reality, realization, where I was sitting there going, well, you know what? I don't necessarily have to continue to do that to that extent anymore. I can do this for me. So, and it was hard to let go of the guilt of not being a very present mum all the time, which you can still be. We just sort of, we want that validation that we are still relevant as a parent with our kids as they get older. When menopause is coming in there too, we have to evaluate, where do we sit in conjunction with what we need to be doing for our kids now. So,
Yeah.
and my kids really, they sat there and went, Mom, seriously, we know how to do this, go away. I was like, okay, gotcha. Don't tell me twice.
Yeah. No, that's a really good reflection, because you know what? There's be so many people that hear this that will relate to that. I have a 20-year-old, Beth, and she's great, but she's off living her life. But then I've got young ones too, so it's I do understand what you mean. Like, where do you fit now?
yeah, that's it. Yeah, you're back to square one with the bubs, so it's good.
Oh, I know. Like, I just what am I doing? Time.
Okay. Another question now.
Oh, another question.
Yep. How can mothers explain to their kids about menopause symptoms without freaking them out? That's a really, really good question.
Ooh, yes.
Probably depends on how old the kids are, but don't be afraid to express to your kids that you're just feeling a bit flat. Don't be afraid to use that emotions wheel and teach them about their own emotions too. That, look, Mum's just feeling a bit tired at the moment. I just need to have a little rest. Maybe you could read me a book. Depending on the age, kids love their mums. They want to hang out with us all the time, and they do want to nurture us just as much as we care for them. So if you have kids that are in the household and they are concerned about you, or you're worried about them, maybe even ask them if they know about menopause, if they've heard about it. Because, if they have access to social media these days, there's every chance they've seen something about it. But share what's happening for you. Remember, though, that menopause, this is going to come out really wrong, but a lot of people that I know blame menopause for poor behavior to people around them and to the people close to them. And it's not an excuse. It's just poor management, that you're not controlling your own personal emotions in those moments. You can only control yourself, and blaming other people is not okay. So in the moments where someone is irritating you, you might want to just say, whether it is your kids, whether it is your partner, just saying to them, look, I'm just not feeling 100% right now. You don't necessarily have to say, look, I'm really pissed off right now, because that'd freak kids out. That'd freak your partner out. But there are really kind ways to address how you're feeling. And look, the other symptoms, primarily, there are lots of felt feelings and lots of felt symptoms that we have. Give them different funny little silly names if you want to. Like I call a hot flush a power surge. So, you know, I'm not sitting there flapping my hands around going, oh my God, I'm having a hot flush, Leanne. I'm like, whoof, power surge coming on. So like change it so that it's not hard and drudgery. And you'll have a lot of fun with it, actually. It can be really, really fun to just give them different names. So
I like
hope
that.
helped. All right. So I've got to keep moving. We're going to run out of time otherwise. Time management options are, you know, making some adjustments in your workplace, you know, division of labour at home, making more time with family and friends, and making sure you've got alone time. And again, reflecting again when it comes to what your time management looks like. So set yourself some goals and set yourself some intentions. They don't have to be big whopping ones, step by step. Alrighty.
All right.
I think that's the hardest one with the time management sometimes. So communication and sharing options. Absolutely communicate your experiences and your emotions. And if you need help, say you need help. And we know women, ladies, we know that we don't like to ask for help. This is your time to start asking for it. Talk about it without fear and judgment. Don't judge your friends for their symptoms and what they're going through, because they are going to be different to yours. Everyone will have a different perspective on what a hot flush feels like and how much they can cope with it. As Jojo said earlier, she feels like she's going to internally combust. You will have good times and bad times. So talk to people, catch up with your friends on the phone. And the most important part here is communicating with healthcare providers and professionals that you trust and that fit with you. Make sure that you do feel listened to and heard, and that they will provide sympathy, empathy, and support for what you're experiencing. Share.
Yeah, I like that.
All right. Oh, Jojo's all over it. She must have known that this one was coming up. This slide was coming. How do you become sexy when you don't feel it at all and your husband thinks you're pushing him away? Fabulous, fabulous question. You have to communicate what you are feeling. So I suggest you make a list of the symptoms that you're experiencing that you know are present with menopause, and Google, like you can Google and see what's on there. I'm more than happy to share these slides with you that have links to different websites that you can find this information. But sharing with your partner what you're experiencing is paramount here, because at the moment, I can probably guarantee he's got no idea what you're going through, no idea what your body's experiencing. You're apprehensive to share it. And, you know, you really don't know what his experience has been learning about menopause. You know, maybe his mum was a cranky old bugger and didn't want to talk about it and, you know, raged off at him. We don't know. So all we can do is present what's there in front of him and in front of the both of you, what you're experiencing. You need to share that. So as I put here, share your experiences and your feelings, supported by your partner. So communicate with yourself and then your partner to express your feelings and needs. Arrange a time to be together to share that. So I highly advise not to do that in the bedroom and sit on the couch instead of Netflix and chilling. Sit and put some music on and have a conversation to communicate together. But your feelings and needs are really relevant, and they need to understand how menopause fits in around that as well. Speak openly about your intimate needs and desires. Be prepared to feel emotional while you're sharing, because it's really hard to open up and say that, you know, 5 years ago or 2 years ago or 6 months ago, you really enjoyed doing something with your partner, but right now you can't fathom it. It's a really hard share to have. So Be prepared for tears from yourself, and your partner might be quite upset about it as well. But hold space for each other and just say, look, we're both navigating something really new. We both need to support each other. Listen to your partner's worries and concerns about your experience with menopausal changes and provide the ways that they can help you. Men like to fix problems, right? And menopause to them is a problem. So what we can do, as well as give them the information about what menopause is and what we're experiencing, is providing an alternative for them so that they don't have to try and fix it. You're controlling a little bit of what you want and you desire. So, for example, if you don't particularly want to have sex with your partner at night, you can say, look, I'm just really not feeling it. You might be feeling really hot, flushy all afternoon. You might say, look, I've just been on and off really hot today and it's made me really tired and fatigued. And I know that when we lay together, I'm going to get really hot. But perhaps you can give me a little shoulder massage instead, or a foot massage. Give them an alternative, all right? Don't just cut it off and say, no, not happening. Give an alternative for what you're comfortable with. And that's good practice to start asking for more of things that you need and desire too. Cherry said I should write a book for relationships. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There's a million things I should do. Do men experience a muted down version of menopause? That's a really good question. Men experience changes in their hormone levels. They don't fluctuate anywhere near as what ours do. But men do tend to feel a lot of our changes, believe it or not. So when we are experiencing, they are certainly noticing them too. But yeah, look, they do experience changes, but yeah, nothing like we do. Nothing like we do. If you are experiencing, I've just put this one in here for the purpose of if you are experiencing painful sex with penetration, that is absolutely a reason to see your doctor. You can use lubes and all different sorts of lubes to determine whether it is just vaginal dryness. But if it is pain with penetration, urgency and pain with urination and feelings of genitourinary burning and irritation. So they are absolutely reasons that you need to see a doctor. But if you're really experiencing just dryness, there's some more tips coming up on these next screens. That pain is really needing to see a doctor. So yeah, this is again another slide just on that previous one. It is treatable if you're having painful sex. Seek medical support through a GP, health practitioner, pelvic floor physiotherapist, or a gyno. You can get lots of different medications. There are plenty available. Highly, highly, highly recommend relaxation techniques like breath work and just movement, mindfulness practices, vaginal dilators, talk therapies, practicing penetration with lubrications and dilators will help as well. But definitely see your doctor about it and determine that it isn't another function. It might just be something as simple as dryness. Alrighty, taking it slow, self-pleasure and partnered play. Cherry's just said, how come everything has the word men in it? LOL. Menstrual cycle, menopause, menstruation. Great question, Cherry. You can Google that one. So taking it slow. Now, this is self-pleasure and partnered play. So going through some different phases here. The pussy looking in the mirror at itself here is admiring yourself, doing some mirror work, looking at your vulva, looking at your pieces of your body. If you've never done that before, I highly suggest that you do and learn to love it. It's tricky. It's very tricky to start with. And touch yourself. Get to know what the sensations feel like. Share with your partner how you'd like to be touched or held and talk about talk about there should be no goal of orgasm. So often, particularly when we are feeling really vulnerable or up and down the craziness of menopause, sometimes we just need to slow down and say, hey, can we not have sex tonight? Can we just hold each other? Can you stroke my back? Can you tickle me? Can you hug me? And slow it right down to, but you've got to share that with your partner. They're going to feel really rejected if you don't provide an alternative. And that's for your benefit. That's not for them. That's for your benefit so that you can start to speak up more about your wants. Use lubes with any kind of touch. So massage each other and use lubrication for massage. It's great for your skin dryness, but use lubes for any kind of touch of genitals or breasts or anything. Use lubes. And then feel free to invite toys and other items for fun. So there's nothing wrong with introducing different shaped toys that into your bedroom. Fellas, it's got nothing to do about you. This is absolutely more about just exploring this body that your partner has and is presenting beautifully for you in a place where she just needs to be loved and held right now. So don't be frightened to use some toys in there too. And then breathe. If something feels like a little bit uncomfortable, just breathe and have a big deep breath and settle your body and relax a little. It serves you no purpose for anybody to say to you, just relax, slow down, just relax, calm down, breathe. Okay. All right. So from here tonight, you've learned a little bit more about menopause, your understanding of menopause. You need to be able to design new ways to lean into your power. Now, so the best way to say that is, now that I know that I can do I plan to. So going back to what we were saying earlier, I will and I can. Preparation and planning. So implement. Who do I need to speak to? What do I need to do and what do I need to provide to them to get the best care for myself? And what appointments do I need to make for that? Stay on track. How can you hold yourself accountable? How can I think more positively about each and every day? And what if I have a bad day? If you have a bad day, start again. Tomorrow is a new day. Let's just start again.
I can say when I have a bad day, I call them write-off days. Like, it's done. Let's just get to tomorrow.
I've just noticed I've got another question down here from Jojo. It's always taken me ages to climax, but now it's taking way longer and I even get bored. Why is it taking longer to climax? Really great question, Jojo. And I'm just talking about what you were saying earlier, being menopausal. I would be saying in here that you're getting bored and it's taking an awful lot longer because you're not being stimulated here. So moving along and having that build up of anticipation of sexiness throughout the day. Foreplay starts from the minute you wake up. So sending sexy messages to each other and really build that anticipation to want to be spending time together. And you'll find that your orgasms can potentially be really more climatic for you. They can be quicker. They can be much more enjoyable. But if you're finding that it's taking a longer time, then I would perhaps take away the goal of an orgasm of an ejaculatory orgasm that women can have. And I would probably just step it back into just appreciate sensation and pleasure for what it is, take away the goal of an orgasm for both parties. Just enjoy each other. And make sure that you say you've had enough when you've had enough. Change positions. You take control. There's lots and lots that you can do in there. But, can we have a chat about that at some stage? I'd love to have a chat further about that because I think we're out of time.
Yeah, well, maybe Jojo can connect with you, Leanne, with some of these options here that are on the screen.
Yep, Perfect. Cherry's has popped the question up. What notable resources are there for women with menopause? Oh, look, what I would love to do is put a whole lot of links into the event tonight. Does that stay available on here?
Yes.
So what I will do is put a whole lot of links in there to some websites in there. I will put some links to social media, people to follow, doctors to follow, gynecologists that are doing amazing research and further research and up-to-date studies on menopause, and HRT and all sorts of other amazing things. So I will put as many links in there as I could possibly find for you all. So the ones that are easy to read and understand too. I won't give you the big medical journal stuff.
You've got a special offer for everyone, Leanne.
I do. So I want to offer for everybody that I'm available for a free 30-minute quickie call for anybody. So the links are all through the website, or you can contact me directly. And also, if you like, you're more than welcome to book a 90-minute session and want to know more if there's more than just a half an hour conversation in there. Some questions are bigger than others, and in that first 30-minute conversation, we have a chat and determine whether or not we can. Let's be honest, I go over 30 minutes. So, I can't help it. I want to help you all. So,
Leanne is great. She's, we've been friends for quite a while, and you could discuss anything with Leanne, and she's just going to be so comforting and so understanding and non-judgmental, all of that. So I can say that with experience, just being friends with Leanne. So thank you, Leanne, for being who you are.
Thank you. I try my best.
So yeah, that's a wrap up. So thank you very much for tonight. Tonight was really informative, even for somebody like me that hasn't been through menopause yet, probably isn't in perimenopause either. Jojo says, thanks, Leanne. Clicked off. Thanks, Leanne. This has helped out loads. Thanks, Jojo, for your questions tonight. And thanks, everyone, for their questions tonight, including our anonymous questions, because we always put it out when it's a topic like this. Sometimes people don't feel confident to share publicly. So as always, if Leanne's coming on or somebody else that you feel and you've got a question for them and you just don't want it to be public, that's okay too. You can always send them to us, and it's 100% private between whomever you've sent it to. So not even Leanne knows who you are if you've sent them to me. So thank you very much for trusting us. That's something I've always wanted to say since last time we had Leanne on. Thank you very much for trusting us with your personal information.
Oh, look, to be really honest with you, I went through a lot of these things by myself. So to be able to be a safe person to talk to about it all is one of my goals. And if there's anything that anybody wants to ask, whatever it's about, when it comes to yourself, just message me. I'm more than happy to talk about it, because there's no reason to go alone.
That's right. All right. Well, let's wrap up tonight. Thank you, everyone who joined us during tonight's live. Make sure you check out the monthly mingle. I'm going to say it again because it's going to be amazing. I hope you are going to be there too, Leanne. Just there's a plug to you. 1111hour.com.au. It's completely free. We're going to have like a monthly mingle where we get to meet each other on screen, on Zoom, or I think it's Zoom we're going to use. And it's going to be really fun just to get to know some of the faces from Help Me Build My Business Australia, and then from everyone that's following us at 1111 hour as well. So please jump on and join our monthly mingle. That'll be really cool to get to know you all. Anyway, thanks, Leanne.
Thank you. No worries at all. And if anyone wants to jump onto that link, the website is soulmatecoaching.com.au.
Exactly. Soulmatecoaching.com.au. Make sure you jump onto that one. That's really important to be able to connect with Leanne if you'd like to get your quickie call or do a 90-minute consultation with Leanne.
And thank you, everybody. Thank you, Tabitha. Thank you, 1111 hour with Cherry in the background there. And everyone
Yes.
else as well. Thank you, everyone, for your questions.
Yeah, shout out to Cherry. Cherry's always in the comments and putting you up on the screen and doing all the back end stuff. And yeah, she's awesome. So thank you very much, everyone.
Beautiful. Thanks, everyone. Night.
Good night.